Hi everyone, it's Ximena Zhao for American Kickboxing Academy. How are you? We miss you very much. How's your quarantine going? Our quarantine over here in Northern California is hopefully coming to an end for now. Hi, aka Fight Family. So today I want to do post-fight analysis and breakdown of Cynthia Calvillo's big win this weekend over Jessica Evil Eye. It took place at the Apex Center Saturday, June 13th. Cynthia was the headliner of the main event. Due to quarantine, the fights took place without a live audience in a smaller cage, and the cage for the UFC's pay-per-view events is 30 feet in diameter. And for Fight Night, ESPN Plus, Dana White's Contender, and all the fights at the UFC Apex Center in Las Vegas, they use a 25-foot wide cage. And DC, the AKA team captain, was saying on his show with Ariel Helwani that for Strikeforce, they actually used a 26-foot cage also, so he feels like he's used to the smaller cage setup already. And it definitely seemed to work to Cynthia's advantage in that she was the much smaller opponent in this fight, and her head coach is now Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Ron Kessler, who is AKA headquarters in San Jose's head BJJ coach, and he has his American Elite Grappling program that he runs out of AKA. That's a competitive team, and I really felt like Cynthia's grappling and her jiu-jitsu was very much on display this past weekend, where Jessica actually weighed in overweight. Jessica's coming down from bantamweight, so she was fighting at 135s and she came down to 125s, whereas Cynthia was coming up from strawweight at 115. And at the weigh-ins, the official weigh-in had Jessica at 0.25, a quarter pound over, but in the post-fight press conference, Cynthia revealed that she actually weighed in at, I think it was 3.6 over, and that they had the text messages from Jessica's management letting them know before the weigh-ins that she was going to come in heavy. And so, yeah, 3.6 pounds. The records entering this fight, Jessica had a record of 15 wins and 7 losses. Cynthia had a record of 8 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. And Jessica was the number 1 ranked flyweight. Cynthia was the number 10 ranked strawweight. Jessica is 1 year older at 33. Cynthia is 32. Jessica's 5'6". Cynthia's 5'4". And Jessica had a 2-inch reach advantage with a 66-inch wingspan to Cynthia's 64 inches. Yeah, and again, this was super impressive because Cynthia was a smaller fighter. She came in on weight. I believe her official weigh-in weight was 126, which is within they give you like a little allowance, a little bit of leeway. She weighed in on weight with 3 weeks notice and the gyms being closed and in a quarantine, just with a new team. This was her first. She had another fight booked previously that had to be canceled because of Antonina Shevchenko. So that's right. Cynthia was booked in April 25th, 2020, recently. So she had just come to AKA. I mean, she's visited before. She's from San Jose. So she had a lot of friends on the team at the gym already. But she officially joined the team, the pro team at headquarters just a few weeks earlier. And then the shelter in place order happened. I think it took effect in Santa Clara County March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And Cynthia had been booked to fight on April 25th. And then all of the events were being canceled at that time, like all sporting events, period, not just UFC, but Bellator, Major League Baseball, basketball, football, like everything was, the Olympics, like everything was being canceled. Universities were closing, airports were shutting down, national borders were shutting down. And so the fight with Antonina Shevchenko was canceled. They were offered this booking. As soon as this fight was announced, I did ask Cynthia for an interview, and we are planning on doing an interview as soon as she gets back to San Jose, I believe. Because the fight camp was only 3 weeks long, and it was so unusual with the gyms being closed, and she had so many media obligations to fulfill for her, her management, her contract, her sponsors, her contract with the UFC, like all of that. And just being a professional athlete and needing to promote your event, needing to get your audience and your fans, let them know what's up. And so she had so many media obligations to do, and she had so much, training, cutting weight, all of that. To be perfectly, she had so much going on that I just didn't want to bug her, to be perfectly honest. Like, let's talk about a little bit more about why this fight was so interesting. I feel like a lot of people had kind of written Cynthia off because she missed weight a couple times, and then she had the draw in the match that she missed weight on, Marina Rodriguez, in December of 2019. And so she actually has only the one loss against Carla Esparza back in 2017, and that was a decision loss. So she doesn't have any, she's never been knocked out or anything like that. And then the other thing that was really impressive about this fight, going up a weight class against somebody who was so much overweight. So if somebody is 3.6 pounds, 3.5, 4 pounds, getting close to 4 pounds overweight at the weigh-ins, that's 3.5 pounds, 4 pounds overweight, completely dehydrated. Like, that they and their team, the day of the weigh-ins, I'm not going to doubt that they didn't do their best to try to lose that weight and to try to make that weight. After the weigh-ins, when they rehydrate and they eat and they have, they're going to be a lot heavier than 3.5 pounds heavier when they step into the octagon. And I think that showed during this fight, which is it's on ESPN Plus. Not only was Cynthia going up against somebody who was so much bigger than her, it just looked like Jessica was like a naturally bigger person, and also just she wasn't as lean as Cynthia went in there, lean and mean. And even though she's gone up a weight class, like she said, she's older than when she started. And I think she started when she was like 23, and now she's 32. So she said, and then she also didn't have any sports or any martial arts before that. So her body has put on a lot of muscle, and from continuous training for the last almost a decade. So she's just a stronger person than when she started her career. All right, so Cynthia's head coach is Ron Kessler, who we just got a shout from Ron's mom on Instagram, which was the biggest compliment ever. Whenever, like, I have a friend who's a tattoo artist, and she says that, like, mom props are like the ultimate I mean, that makes sense for a tattoo artist because they made your body, and somebody else is permanently putting a design or hopefully an artwork on you, and your mom's artwork theoretically, right? You're her masterwork theoretically. So so big props from Ron Kessler's mom for, I think it's just for writing a nice caption appreciating his incredible achievements and efforts, because Ron will do some crazy stuff, like he'll go corner an MMA fighter one night and then get on the plane and then fly across the country to another time zone and coach his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu team in a competition tournament. So big ups to Cynthia's new head coach, Ron Kessler. And if you go back and watch the interview that we did, I guess technically we're still in quarantine, although some countries and states and counties and businesses are slowly reopening. I know I think Cynthia said the 3 weeks of her camp she was at, AKA, and also I've seen that DC Daniel Cormier he's in camp for Stipe Miocic, also at headquarters in San Jose. But during her camp, she only had 2 coaches and 2 training partners. So let's see. Yeah, so she didn't have the whole team, which is very different. When you have the whole team, you're getting all these different looks. You're, practicing with different people, and each person is like going to bring a different flavor, that's the whole point of being on a team, right? Is like 2 minds are greater than 1. Then so like, are 75 minds going to be better than 1? When you go to like a sparring practice day at AKA Pro Team, there might be 10 or 15 coaches there. And I mean like a professional boxing coach, 3 black belts in jiu-jitsu, like couple judo and taekwondo black belts, and there'll be like all kinds of different people bringing, there'll be like Olympic wrestlers and seriously, and then that's just like the local people, like not including all the people who fly in from all over the world to train there. So it's a really different experience. So imagine you go from like 50, 75 people, 100 people in a practice to, okay, not all of those are pro team, because some of them are visitors or amateur team that has a fight coming up. But when you're used to a big practice session with a big team and lots of coaches, and then to have your camp stripped down to like 4 people because you don't want to risk getting infected, then because they are doing all the testing at these UFC events,